there's little or no interest in Japan and little or no interest in Tokyo.
Okay.
There are some knowledgeable Americans who have spent some time in Japan and who do see the opportunities, but that's very rare. I mentioned that I attended a conference recently and we were just talking about global investment, and one of the individuals who has spent an awful lot of time in Japan and was very visible, and I actually met him in Japan. He was the outlier, and he said, I'm investing in Japan because nobody else is. And so that's really the perception. I think it comes, especially in New York, from those people who watched this wall of capital flow into New York in the 1980s, whether it was buying 666 Fifth Avenue or that disastrous investment in Rockefeller Center and so forth. And so from that point on, I think Japan as investors and Japan as an investment opportunity were just totally discounted. And it's going to take an awful lot of time and education to make Americans believe that this is a valid place to put your money and these are valid people to work with if you're going to be making investments in Japan. But as far as Americans are concerned, Japanese means Sumitomo, Mitsubishi, Mitsui Fudosan, and that's about it. We've become, over the last maybe couple of decades, totally ignorant of Japan, and that's a shame. It frustrates me, but I don't see Americans having any compelling desire to become involved in Japan.
You know, we talk to a lot of US investors, and I agree with everything you say, but I don't think US investors are not going to Japan because they're ignorant of it. I think they probably look at the fairly low returns that, just doesn't quite, meet American return targets. As well as that, Japan is actually quite highly correlated with the US, so there's not so much of a kind of investment motivation for them to do that. Asia, I think, is much more, from a diversification perspective, much more natural investment location for European capital, actually, and diversifies European economies quite nicely. And we certainly find more appetite amongst European investors. Perhaps also European investors are a little bit more comfortable with a kind of low long-term return outlook as well. So, it's just an observation on what's been said.